Welcome, everyone, to today's episode of the Manifestation Method. Today, we're going to talk about time bending and how to accelerate your manifestations, or in other words, have them show up in your 3D more quickly. Okay, because time bending is a powerful tool to accelerate your manifestations and bring your future desires into the here and now. And so when you learn how to work with time as a sovereign creator, as a sovereign manifester, things start to shift and upgrade in your life at rapid speed. So suddenly you'll find yourself not waiting around for your dreams to arrive on their timeline. Instead, you become the one who decides how quickly your manifestations appear. Super cool, super excited for today's episode. Let's jump in. Becoming a co-creator with the creator is your birthright. Together, we'll journey into your deepest authenticity. Because the more you align with who you truly are, the more effortlessly you call in the life that you desire and deserve. And most importantly, the more you step into your soul's highest purpose. Welcome to the Manifestation Method podcast, your number one source for Kabbalistic manifestation. Here we combine the ancient wisdom of Kabbalah, modern psychology, and quantum physics to help you achieve real, tangible manifestation results with my proven Abra method. I'm Ayelet Polonsky, and I'm here to guide you on your journey of manifesting a life that is aligned, expansive, and deeply connected to your highest self through the sacred energetic mechanics of Kabbalistic manifestation. To learn how to use Kabbalistic manifestation to transform your life from the inside out, go to ayeletpolonsky.com or download the Manifestation Method app. Let's open the gates of manifestation together.
So, Ayelet, first of all, what is time bending? Explain it to us.
Yeah, we should probably start there, huh? Okay, so
Yeah, start with the basics.
okay. So let's break this down in a way we can easily understand. Time bending refers to the concept that time is not fixed. Time is not a linear force, right? But rather it's something that can be experienced, perceived, and even influenced using our consciousness, right? We are of the mindset or of the conditioned belief that time is linear, right? It's 12 o'clock, then 1 o'clock, then 2 o'clock, then 3 o'clock, right? And first we're age 1, then we're age 2, then we're age 3. And this is a natural conditioned response and belief to how time works, but once we really start to understand that time is a man-made construct, in other words, it's an illusion, then we can start to play with time almost as though it were an energetic, almost as though it was something that our mind, our consciousness can actually influence. And this thing around time bending isn't just some woo-woo spiritual manifestation idea. It actually is sourced in physics, metaphysics, psychology. So in essence, like time bending really asks us to first and foremost challenge our ordinary understanding, our conditioned understanding of what time is as moving in a straight line from past to future, and instead see time as something that is malleable and that we can actually see time as particles, and we can, which we'll talk about in today's episode, use our own consciousness to shift and bend and accelerate time.
And it also makes me think about Einstein's The Theory of Relativity. Like, so much of what time bending is about is like really realizing it's the relationship between particles and between ourselves and our manifestation, just how time is with what Einstein coined as relative. Like it's all, and that even relative that goes into, that's the root word is in relationships. Like it's a shared root word. So it's like all about how we relate to time. Like even if, yeah, there are some things that we are bound to by time in these physical bodies, like aging, but there's also so like the power behind how we live and how we manifest is really in how we relate to these different concepts.
Yeah, absolutely. And also like, the thing with time bending is that we can actually collapse timelines and accelerate the arrival of desired outcomes. And by shifting our experiences, we rewrite our relationship with past events, which also,
Mm.
time bending is not just something that we do moving forward, because what Einstein coined as time being relative, right?
Mm-hmm.
It also means that we can go into our past. This is something that we did a lot when I was living in India for those six
Mm-hmm.
years is, research has shown that we can actually rewrite or heal. I think the percentage was like 68 or something, 68% of our past trauma. Like we can actually shift 68% of what happened to us in our past, right? Through healing and reframing and changing how our experiences or the meaning that we attach to it from our childhood starts to shift. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and also too, like if for our listeners, like a really great way, just even getting started with rewriting and healing and making like time bending is just to do the hypno activations that we offer at ayeletpolonsky.com.
Yeah, yeah, those are actually like like the whole idea with these, I call them activations, and a lot of them I call accelerations, because the whole
Mm-hmm.
idea is to transcend time and space using our consciousness. And so, time is one of the most essential tools in your manifestation toolkit, right? Because time is not just a rigid structure dictating your life. Again, I'm going to like reinforce this idea just to kind of recondition our listeners' way of perceiving time, that time is something that is malleable, it's fluid, it's even playful, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's even a there's a in the Gemara, right, the Jewish text in the Gemara, it teaches, there's a line that says, he who tries to control time, time resists back to that person, meaning time will control them. And on the flip side, he who surrenders to time, time will bend for that person. Right. And that's in like Jewish sacred text. That's a Kabbalistic principle. So a lot of people see time as a fixed grid, right? I'll meet you
Mm-hmm.
at 1 p.m. or there are only 24 hours in a day. But the
Yeah.
thing is, like I said, it's a man-made construct. So while time is useful because it helps us coordinate, make plans, structure our lives, the truth is that time is actually an illusion. So while it's an important structure, because if I have plans to meet you for brunch at 11 a.m., I don't want to be late, right? So it's an important construct, but not one that is like necessarily as structured as we might think it is. And when you realize this, you start to awaken to a super powerful truth. And that is
Mm-hmm.
that you can actually bend time. You can manipulate time to work for you versus against you. So a high level manifester actually sees time as a valuable asset, sees time as their friend, and it's a tool that we can start to learn how to compress, expand, and even dissolve once you master it.
I sort of am seeing like how you're explaining this concept like visually, almost like time is an accordion. Like when we think of it as on a timeline, it's like really stretched out and it seems like the notes are really far away. And then when we like activate time bending, it like scrunches the accordion together and you can almost like reach through the accordion to the manifestation or whatever it is. So like that just was the visual that came up.
So I love that because that really is like a good visual, which is also the secret to high level manifestors, right? For high level manifestors, the question shouldn't be, will I manifest this? Right? Instead, a high level manifester knows that their desire is already theirs. So the real question becomes for these high level manifestors is not, will I manifest this, but how quickly will this come into my life?
Hmm.
And once you anchor into this like certainty, this like knowing that it's coming, you begin to collapse the timeline between where you are now and where you want to be. Okay? So time becomes less about waiting and more about allowing. It's
Hmm.
allowing your manifestations to come with ease, with flow, with speed. And this secret to high level manifestors is that they are in a perpetual state of allowing because they know that they know that they know that they know their manifestation is on it's like an Amazon package, right? Once you press send, like you purchase the product on Amazon, you're not sitting there looking at the clock. When is it coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? Is it going to come? Is it going to show up? What if it doesn't show up? Oh my goodness, what if it doesn't show up? No, you know that you know that you know. It's only a matter of time. So it's a shift in your frequency into one of allowing your manifestation to really develop.
Amazing. And let's also talk about the quantum field. Like so many people, are talking about the quantum field these days. A lot of it also, with Joe Dispenza's work, he's really brought the quantum field and like how it can be an interpersonal relationship with the quantum field like into like it's he's really highlighted that. But what does that actually mean? Because I feel like there's so for me, the quantum field, it can feel so abstract. And also, like, how does it relate Kabbalistically? Like, how can we really start making it more personal for ourselves so that we can use the quantum field to work for us versus feeling like how you said in the beginning, like, kind of like a leaf in the wind, like becoming a co-creator with, working with the quantum field versus just kind of letting things blow into your life.
Yeah, good question. So let's simplify this for people who are like, what the heck is the quantum field?
Yeah.
So, so a manifestation principle that I often share is that when you shift your perception, you shift your reality, right? Like change your mind, change your life type of thing. Like shift your perception, shift your reality. Time is all about our perception. Okay, so according to quantum physics, there's something called the observer effect.
Mm-hmm.
And the observer effect shows that the way we observe something, like we as human beings, the way we actually see it, observe it, can actually change its form. So if you observe a particle differently, it either collapses into a solid state or it becomes
Mm-hmm.
a wave. Okay, now this is really important when it comes to manifestation because when something is in a solid state, it is what it is, what it is, what it is. It's much harder to make it malleable, to shape shift
Mm-hmm.
it. But when something is a wave or a particle, then there's more space between the particles, which means that you can actually use your consciousness to manipulate the thing itself. Okay, so now if we were to apply this idea of the observer effect, right? When you observe something, that thing changes. Okay, let's apply it to our relationship with time. If you start observing time, because quantum physics is when it comes to time is all about our observation, we said. So if you start observing time through the lens of limitless potential
Mm-hmm.
instead of scarcity or there's not
Mm-hmm.
enough hours in the day, then
Yeah.
how you observe time and your perception of it will be how time responds to you. Okay,
So the
so
quantum field is not necessarily a place outside of ourself. It's something that we're interacting with. Like it's like this space between the subatomic particles that creates things either fluid, like makes it vibrate higher, or more fluid or more solid.
yeah, and I would say it's both outside of ourselves and that it's also, I mean, everything is just a mirror projected, right? So it's
Yeah.
it's the quantum field is actually like if we're actually getting technical, like we have an electromagnetic field that surrounds us, and everybody has their own electromagnetic field, which we're programming in every moment. And that field is made up of information or sacred geometries that the way we observe reality, whether we see things as positive or negative, will actually imprint certain codes or different information into our quantum field, into our
Hmm.
electromagnetic field. And we
Hmm.
are magnetic beings. We're made up of electricity. We are
Hmm.
constantly magnetizing our reality into existence in every moment based on our perception and how we're observing our reality. So again, if you start observing time as limitless potential versus there's not enough hours in the day, it
Hmm.
will respond accordingly and you start to shift the codes in your electromagnetic field, turning you into a much stronger magnet for your desires.
Hmm.
So one thing that I like my clients to do when we're starting to work with time bending is I have them just write down three very simple mantras that if you repeat them again and again and again, will start to slowly chip away at your perception of time. And the first one is I choose to believe that time is my greatest asset. Okay.
That's so powerful.
So powerful, right?
For all the people who feel like they don't have enough hours in the day, including myself.
Exactly, exactly. Like, am I in control of time, or am I going to let time control me? That's really what it comes down to.
Hmm.
Okay, so I choose to believe that time is my greatest asset, automatically creates a space where we start to see time working with us and for us, which is super powerful. Okay, and the second mantra is time bends for me with ease and joy. Time bends for me with ease and joy. And the third one is I always have more than enough time, which I like to repeat to myself when like I'm taking my 5-year-old son and my 3-year-old daughter to swimming lessons, right? This was us yesterday. It's literally like we're like swimming lessons start at 4:15. Okay, talking about time starts at 4:15 and we get there it's like 4:10 and we still need to run inside and get them into their bathing suits and get them ready for swimming lessons. And I go to take them out of their car seats and they're just like, it's autumn outside. So they're literally, to them, time does not exist. Like time is
Yeah.
to them, it has not been a construct yet for them. And so they're looking at the red leaves and the orange leaves and the yellow leaves, and they're like jumping in the pile of leaves as though time
Mm.
doesn't exist. And so in those moments when I'm like seeing that I'm the one constricted for time, I repeat to myself, I always have more than enough time. And what I start to see is like time will actually bend and expand for us to make it just in the nick of time when I repeat this mantra to myself, which is
I
also
love
super,
that.
it's also good to say this when you're like trying to get somewhere on time, but you're stuck in traffic. Okay. Like I always have more than enough time. Simply shifting your observation of time and your perception of time will actually get time to bend and dissolve and work in your favor. Okay.
And what
So,
was the second mantra? Because that is like the element of play in here, I think is so important.
yeah. So it's
Like that talking about
time bends for me with ease and joy.
yeah, it's the joy aspect of it. Like instead of, I think so much of us can relate to feeling the grip, like the tight grip that time has on us or the constraints of time. And then when we start thinking about how it can bend with us with ease and joy, like that alleviates and lightens up so much stress, so many stories that we have about, being on time or not being late or not being a flake, like all these stories, and can let us actually start interacting and playing with the quantum field, which is like the feeling of lightness is something that's a really key element in all of this too.
Yeah, because how often are we like crunched for time and like all of a sudden our system feels crunched, right? There's
Hmm.
no ease and there's no joy when we're in a state of constriction, which is an actual block for manifestation, right? So like
And
time,
also too, like lightness, like the lightness of the like molecules and particles like parting for you versus like when we're tight, it's literally like solidifying things. Like even what we were talking about before, the relationship between fluidity and then solid tightness.
yeah, yeah. So again, it's about choosing new beliefs about time because when you do this, you actually shift your energetic frequency. And by doing this, you align with the version of yourself who is already living in the reality that you desire, right? Because another manifestation principle is you don't manifest what you want, you manifest who you are. So, who
Hmm.
are you going to choose to be? How are you going to show up? What perception are you going to have around how long your desire takes to manifest? Because when you start to shift your perception, you actually start to shift your energetic blueprint around time, and then time will start to work for you.
Hmm.
Okay.
Nice. So, what about people who, let's say they just are like we have a lot of folks that are in the dark chrysalis period right now.
Mhm.
How in the dark chrysalis period you can feel really, really stuck and a lot of resistance. So, how can we apply time bending to being in a place of stuckness?
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't listened to the episode on the Dark Chrysalis, I really recommend listening to it just so because we're not going to go into like what that time period means and how to make the most
Hmm.
of it. But the Dark Chrysalis is a really beautiful time period, I'll just say in a nutshell, where it feels like nothing's happening, you're not manifesting. In fact, it might feel like you're regressing. But that is, there's magic in that time period because if you actually go in and you do the inner work that the dark chrysalis phase allows, for you, you'll start to see things shift and again accelerate. So it doesn't matter whether you're in like an accelerated state of manifesting or whether you're in a dark chrysalis stage. The key to time bending really lies in embodying the energy of already having your manifestation. So
Mm.
if someone is in a dark chrysalis phase and it feels like nothing's moving for them, nothing's manifesting, I recommend tuning into the feeling of what it's like to have your dream right now
Hmm.
and to sit with that feeling, amplify that feeling, and let it ripple through your entire being. Because when you do this, like something miraculous happens. The particles of your future manifestation start fusing with your present self.
Hmm.
Right? And at first it might feel a little bit disorienting. Like it might actually feel like you're in that lucid state or you're waking up from a dream and you're not sure if it was real or if you were dreaming it. But that's the exact sensation that you're aspiring to. Because this blurring of timelines, right? That lucid state, that in between state, that blurring of timelines means that the future version of your dream is actually syncing with your present self.
Ooh.
And so by doing that, by being in that state, you're collapsing the gap between someday and now.
The accordion squish.
The accordion squish. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Also, too, I was reading about how literally our physical mass is getting lighter, like gravity is getting lighter in throughout the universe, like also on our planet, our mass is getting lighter, and that also I think really aligns with where like what quantum or and also like in the spiritual world right now too, like lots of different traditions are saying that we're entering this new paradigm. And I really feel like part of the new paradigm is like literally being lighter. Like, and being able to have access to time bending and have more knowledge and access about the quantum field and be able to make it work for us.
Yeah, and I think like if people are going to hop on this train of like where this new paradigm is heading and like
Hmm.
it's like the key here is to actually like play if we're talking about time specifically, right? It's to start
Hmm.
playing with time as a superpower. Like I like to see time as not something that's working against me, like I'm fighting against the clock, but rather like time is my superpower. And so the way I think about it is like how many times have you been like so absorbed in something that hours flew by in what felt like minutes, right? Like you're in a flow state, right? Let's say you're in a flow state. You're painting, you're dancing, you're singing, you're writing, right? You're in this flow state. And really like you've waited or or let's say like maybe you've like waited in line for 10 minutes, but it felt like an hour, right?
Hmm.
Those are two different states. One is like you're absorbed in something and it's like all these hours go by, but it felt like minutes. And the other is like I'm waiting in line and it feels like hours, but it's really just been 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. So time bending here is a lot about your perception, which alters time, right? When we bring
Hmm.
our perception into the now, into the present moment, we're actually shifting our energetic blueprint and changing how time feels. So it's important to start playing with how time feels in your system. Okay, like I'll give another example to drive this point home because I can see already how people are like, wait, what is she talking about? So, like, imagine you're at, let's say, an amusement park. Okay, like how many times have you been to an amusement park and the lines take like forever, right? It seems like the lines are super long, and you look at the line, you're like, I could be online for 2 hours, right? And so let's imagine that there's two types of people on the same line waiting to ride a roller coaster. And person A is feeling really anxious and feeling like something might be wrong and feeling like, oh my gosh, look at the roller coaster, look at that huge drop. What if I die? And they're super overwhelmed and they're feeling anxiety, right?
Hmm.
While person B is on the same line, about to ride the same roller coaster, but they feel totally calm. They feel relaxed. They even might feel a little bit like excited for the rush,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, even though both experience the same amount of time on the same line according to the clock, their perception of however long it takes to get onto the roller coaster will be entirely different. And
Totally.
a lot has to do with their emotional state or their frequency, because that really
Hmm.
shapes how they experience time.
Hmm.
And this is where the magic happens, right? One's vibrational blueprint directly impacts how time bends around you. And so the more present and aligned you are with the energy of your desires, and the more you embody that excitement or the energy of your desires and get into alignment with the knowing that it's only a matter of time before your desire manifests, the more effortlessly time and space will start to shift in order to meet you.
Amazing. So, what are some tips? Like, so many people right now I've been hearing have been feeling like they have accessed the quantum field and that they are making huge quantum leaps in their life and with their manifestations. And the rapid growth, that comes with that is really taxing on the system, like feeling fatigue or tiredness or spacey a little bit. But then on the outside, they really are making these huge leaps. What are some ways people can really, I guess, align themselves and grow into this new vessel that is making these huge, like, leaps of faith?
Yeah, so I find that when my system is trying to catch up with the accelerated rate at which my life is moving, right?
Mm-hmm.
It almost feels like I'm like not in my body, right? I'm like disembodied in those moments because it's like, oh my gosh, there things are happening so quickly and I can't keep up, right? So I almost feel like I'm like there's no ground beneath me, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's a lot of the experience for a lot of people that are just experiencing a lot of accelerated manifestations or things
Mm-hmm.
moving at a super speed. And so I find just a lot of grounding exercises to be super helpful during these time periods. So what I'll do is, I actually will take like a few minutes in my day, even if it's 2 minutes, like literally, even if it's a 2 minutes, and I'll go into my backyard barefoot and I'll plant my feet barefoot on the ground and do what's called earthing. It's
Mm-hmm.
so simple, but it's like again, first it's about perception. It's shifting your perception of time. When someone's feeling like they're in a crunch, it's
Right.
because their perception has not shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Once your perception shifts, then you'll feel like I don't have to burn myself out. Everything is happening in divine timing and it's all just a matter of divine time. So what am I
Mm-hmm.
freaking out about?
Yeah.
But also just so your body can start to feel more embodied, I literally just plant my feet on the ground or I'll do a lot more meditation, a lot more yoga. It's a lot more just like exercises of coming into your somatic self, into your body.
Epic.
Yeah.
It's really this little things that we do every day. I feel like also, in my own self, I'm going through a lot of rapid growth right now and feeling that quantum fatigue. And I think something that I've just been doing, like even like the visual things of thinking like time is like a wormhole and then like reaching my hand through a wormhole and then like getting my manifestation or whatever, like reminding yourself too of like why are you feeling the tiredness or why do you feel like things are happening so fast? It's like it's literally because your manifestations are so close to you.
Yeah.
Just reminding yourself too, it's like not, you're not just like spinning through space.
Yeah, yeah, and but it can
Yeah.
feel like spinning. It's interesting you
Hmm.
say like that the word spinning here because
Yeah.
Kabbalah and time bending. Like in Kabbalah, time is also not a linear force.
Hmm.
Like time actually from a Kabbalistic perspective moves from the past through the present and into the future. Like meaning
Hmm.
it doesn't do that. It doesn't move in that
Yeah.
linear way. Instead, time, according to Kabbalah, is understood to be circular or
Mm.
spiral or
Hmm.
multidimensional. And so, with each moment that we're connected to the divine and holding the potential for transformation, we actually can feel like things are spiraling out of control. Like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Woo!
And so from this perspective, like time bending is possible when you align yourself with higher consciousness, you transcend lower states of being, and you interact with time as if it's an active fluid force that serves your soul's evolution. And it makes sense that because according to Kabbalah, time is spiral and
Hmm.
circular, right? That it might sometimes feel like things are spinning out of control. But again, like you said, that what you said was you said it just right. It means that your manifestations are really like right there. They're like literally right around the corner.
Yeah, and also too, like sometimes it's for me, it's overwhelming to think about. how life is so cyclical, like, like what we're talking about, the upward spiral, like we're all moving towards something, but it is ultimately revolving around in a spiral. Like that is like the cosmic law, like it's in Kabbalah, it's in like theories about time, etc.
Mhm.
But then it's like our own little world that's happening, like we're like a micro of the macro, like on this little teacup, like tea party cup, like Disneyland ride. And yeah, just really remembering too, like it's not things when the things happen so fast, like it really is all about coming back into presence. Like that is like the key that unlocks the door to stepping through like the time bend portal, essentially.
Yeah, everything comes back to presence. That's my mentor. Every time I have a rift and I'm out of alignment and I speak to my mentor, the one thing he always says, he's like, Ayala, are you in presence? I'm
And
like,
you're
yeah,
like, no, I'm spiraling.
what do you mean?
Yeah.
It really is that simple, right? Like when we're in presence, then we're beyond time, right? Because it's like the past doesn't exist anymore, so to speak. The future, I mean, it might exist in the quantum field, but the future as we know it, according to our perception, doesn't necessarily exist, right?
Mhm.
So it's like when we're in presence, then we're beyond time. And when we're in presence, we can actually access that multidimensional field, the quantum field, or in Kabbalah called the field of Ein Sof,
Mhm.
infiniteness, where infinite possibilities live, right? And if we think of infiniteness, right, God, infinite, is not a construct. It's not, we can't, time we could put in a box. Time has a beginning and an end, right? There's 60 seconds to a minute. There's boundaries to time.
Mhm.
Infiniteness has no boundaries. So when we're in presence, we're accessing what Kabbalah calls the field of Ein Sof, and we can start to program using visualization methods, using a lot of the activations that I teach, right? We can program those higher realms and actually draw into our 3D here and now our future us, like future me that exists in the quantum field. By visualizing it and feeling as though it already exists, I'm transcending time and space, pulling that future version of me into the here and now, therefore collapsing the amount of time something might take to manifest.
So good.
So good.
And that's time bending, ladies and gentlemen.
Love it. Oh my goodness. What a topic. What a topic. I mean,
Could go on and on.
we could go on
It's
and
very
on.
deep.
It is really deep. It is really deep. But and you know what? Like I understand that this is also a very deep idea. And so many of you might still be left with questions or curiosities. So I really, really I would love to hear from you guys. Like really hearing from our listeners is what gives me like the fuel and the motivation to keep going. And it also gives me the reassurance that I'm offering content that really is meeting you in a place that like you're like, yeah, I love this stuff. So
Yeah.
if you have
Tell
any
us also about how you're time bending in your own life, like your own experiences of speeding up time and playing with that.
totally like send me a message on Instagram at the man of send me a message on Instagram and let me know what you're time bending, what it is that you're drawing into the 3D. Let me know if you have any questions. Um, and yeah, to sum it up, in essence, time bending is about shifting your perception, your energy, and your awareness to alter how you experience time, right? And even how you experience reality itself. Okay, so what we learned today is that you are not entirely bound by time, that you can have time work for you instead of being controlled by time. And that the more you surrender to time and shift your perception and your observation of time, the more time will bend for you in your favor. Okay. And so by shifting your consciousness and knowing that your consciousness plays a role, you really turn time into an ally, into a friend, and you shape your entire experience of it.
Ayelet, can you wrap this episode up with a bracha, which is a new tradition we're starting here on the manifestation mindset? A bracha is a blessing to carry us into this next week.
Yeah, and actually, I didn't tell you, but today is my Hebrew birthday.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. So powerful.
So whatever blessings come through is actually said on one's Hebrew birthday that you're channeling the divine feminine aspect of God on your Hebrew birthday. So if you're listening, and because we're beyond time and space, it doesn't matter if you're listening to this today on my birthday, if you're listening to this a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, We're transcending time and space. So this blessing really exists on all dimensions. So consider this a blessing that's meeting you exactly where it needs to meet you. And I bless you all who are listening to really, really come to a place of belief and knowing that time is your friend. Come to a place, I bless you to have this experience of time where time starts to bend for you, where you start to see time as lucid and malleable, where all of your deepest heart's longings manifest for you this year at an accelerated speed, and that all of the pieces in your system recalibrate with so much ease and grace in order to meet your manifestation with so much alignment and synchronicity. I bless you to just really, spend your time with friends and doing things that you love, and to really fill your time with things that are meaningful and wholesome, and that you really get to live a lifetime of pure, pure, pure joy, because that is ultimately your birthright.
Amen. See you guys next week.
Thanks, guys. Love you. If you enjoyed this episode, let's keep the conversation going inside the Manifestation Method Portal app, your #1 destination for Kabbalistic manifestation. Inside, you'll unlock the secrets of manifestation through my proven Abra method, rooted in Kabbalah, psychology, and quantum physics, designed to help you manifest real, tangible results from the inside out. Join our global community of manifestors, explore our signature courses, monthly live manifestation workshops with me, Ayelet, and access our transformational hypno activations and attunements to rewire limiting beliefs and align with your soul's purpose. The app is available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play. To sign up, head over to ayeletpolonsky.com. Becoming a co-creator with the Creator is your birthright. Let's manifest the life you desire and deserve together.